Okay, we have mere days until EVO, which sadly my own plans fell through for, but with the amount of content Marvel has planned with all the creator broadcasts, I think we are bound to finally see Ghost Rider's team this weekend. It's not like I haven't made content for predicting this team so far. I've done movesets for Moon Knight and Daredevil, which I'll talk about later, plus a whole ass tier list on who is in contention for this team. But I wanted to make one final video before EVO really kicks off as a final lock on what I want this team to be. With the devs citing this as a team of outlaws and the comics currently propping up Robbie on a new Midnight Suns team, there's a lot of speculation coming out, so I'll throw my hat into the ring. Not only am I going to give you all the scoop on who is going to be a part of Robbie's team, but I'll go a step further and try to explain some of the lore that could go into this team dynamic and how the other three could play out. Either way, let's go figure out the Midnight Suns. Also, yes, it is going to be based on Jed MacKay's Midnight Suns lineup that he is making in Mark Spector's Moon Knight, because it is just too good. I mean, with two variant issues dedicated to two foundational issues for this new team, it kind of speaks for itself. While we don't know too much about this team, save for a Jed MacKay interview and why the team is getting set up, there are still some clues here. For starters, the second team member has to be Moon Knight. While we don't know actual team dynamics yet in Jed's run, we do know that this team was brought together and could face a bunch of problems and really is made or broken because of Moon Knight. You see, I read comics, and I'm actually fully caught up on Jed MacKay's Moon Knight run, as I highlighted in the Moon Knight moveset video, which you should check out, by the way. As of the last issue, all of Moon Knight's regular allies from the Midnight Mission have been swallowed up by an extra-dimensional haunted house. Reyes, Soldier, Tigra, Hunter's Moon, all swallowed up, summoned into our own world after hearing the death of a teenage form of its species, which is the Midnight Mission building. Without any of his allies, and barely escaping from the creature himself, he goes to a good ally of his, Clea, and from there she goes to summon the Midnight Suns to fight against this extra-dimensional creature. Because of this centerpiece part he plays in the story, I feel he has to be a lock. For how the story could be in Tōkon, we could have something similar here, even with the team dynamics with the rest of the Midnight Suns. As we go through the other two characters, I'll explain their own connections to Robbie, but also to Moon Knight, as if it's going to be this team dynamic, Moon Knight connections are pivotal. For what the two have together, well, definitely not on the best of terms. Way at the beginning of Jed's Moon Knight, there was an establishing event not written by him in a recent Avengers run called Age of Khonshu, where Khonshu took over the world by attempting to take all of the prehistoric powers of the Marvel Universe for himself to fight against Mephisto, which includes the Spirit of Vengeance. Moon Knight took the spirit from Robbie in the middle of the night, which also included his Hell Charger. I mean, we got some bitchin' pages of Moon Knight with the flaming head and the Hell Charger and all that, but this left Robbie in an extremely weak state and even later got mummified alongside Doctor Strange and Iron Fist. The two don't bump into each other for the rest of Jed's run, so you can imagine that Robbie might have some choice words for Mark. As for how I think he'll play, I made a whole video recently going over a potential moveset, as I highlighted earlier, so if you want the full scoop on that, make sure to check the video out. We still have a lot of ground to cover, so it makes sense to move on to the next character, which I'll say is more unconventional compared to a lot of predictions people have been putting out, but I feel Clea would make a strong addition. I've already gone over how she's fit in with Moon Knight, as they both see each other as strong allies. They morally don't care about their enemies, they will kill, they're chill with that. Plus, Jed MacKay also wrote a run of Strange where Clea was the Sorcerer Supreme, and you can see where we can go from here, being a fusion of UMVC 3, Doctor Strange, and Dormammu. Yeah, she's Dormammu's niece and the same species as Dormammu, so it makes sense. But still, she can make for a very strong set play character, as I could also see her being more aggressive than the other two, mainly because of that no-kill rule. As for how she's connected to Robbie, yeah, they don't really have something there. They don't have any moments in the comics, so I'm interested to see what their dynamic could be like. Also, I'll go over honorable mentions later in this video, as I think Clea's spot is the one that could be rotated out. She makes a strong choice, but because of the non-existent relationship with Robbie and the fact that the other two variant comics that need to be filled in belong to Deadpool and Thor, arguments are very 50-50, I'll be honest. Someone who has better arguments, however, is Blade. It only makes sense, as he fits the role of a supernatural outlaw very well, and one of the only people to be on every single iteration of the Midnight Suns. So it makes sense to bring him in. Plus, out of all the characters in the new Midnight Suns roster, Blade easily has the strongest relationship with Robbie, both being part of the Avengers lineup during Jason Aaron's run in 2018. He's been at odds with Moon Knight here and there, but with how long Blade's been around, he remembers previous Fists of Khonshu that at least makes dealing with Mark honorable in that sense. I could see him in terms of gameplay being a more light version of Nago, obviously having a swords-based moveset instead that could be more focused on a blood mechanic. I know I droned on and on about Moon Knight compared to the other two, but all four of them could make for a very strong team. And then there's Daredevil. I already made a moveset for Bro 2 way back at the start of the year, which if you want to check that out. But as Jed Mackay highlighted, he put Daredevil to be the odd man out on this roster, more so as a foil to how Moon Knight acts, which makes sense. The other thing is that he has virtually no connection with Robbie, while he's on the team for the sake of Moon Knight, not for the sake of Robbie. So it's hard to argue for him on the team rather than what the future could bring when the next issue drops on July 1st. Wait, what was it? July 22nd? The last Moon Knight issue was on June 3rd! I have to wait in total in almost 2 months to actually see the Midnight Suns start to get set up? Are you... God damn it, man! Let's go on, man. Just go. Obviously, this team has been described as outlaws first and foremost, so there are a lot of honorable mentions here. While I do want a Midnight Suns roster, and I think it makes the most sense, and as a Jed Mackay stan and Moon Knight fan, this would make me drop everyone I want to pick up so far and actually learn some extra load to learn Ghost Rider. There are some other elephants in the room. For starters, there were drawings from the end of the Amazing Guardians trailer that haven't gotten addressed in any team trailer since, which I'm pretty sure are Penny's drawings, but there is still the marshmallow being roasted on top of Robbie's head, something Deadpool has been shown to do for a certain other Spirit of Vengeance in merch, and could fit very well on an outlaw team, and could be cool as a more eccentric joke resource-based type of character. The duck that shows up there too have made people argue for Gwenpool. Punisher also fits very well on a team like this, so he's worth a mention. There was also a leaked store listing for Tōkon a few months back, which successfully leaked out Magneto, and it would be cool if they got both of the leaked characters right, and we get Scarlet Witch too, except for the fact that I pray to God they're wrong, solely because I am a Scarlet Witch hater for life. I'm sorry, but I hate her! Other than that, there's still a bunch of other supernatural-based characters that could work well on this team. Nico Minoru has been active in Jed's Doctor Strange, and I know a certain someone would be happy for that. There's also Dr. Voodoo and Elsa Bloodstone that can make very strong choices, but the Man-Thing really shines the best for me. As while we have Hulk as a resident big body type character, he's not screaming grappler, so the roster is still missing a good big body grappler, and Man-Thing could easily fill that spot. There's also the Winter Soldier poking around. Could work well if we lean more into the basic outlaw approach. Been on countless modern iterations of the Thunderbolts, and of course is the Winter Soldier. So I could see it working, but there's a lot of stronger options before the Winter Soldier. And that's it. As you can see, there are a lot of strong characters for Robbie's team, both from the supernatural and anti-hero worlds. But if I gotta pick, I'd 100% go for Moon Knight, Clea, and Blade. Hey, it's not my fault that Jed Mackay hit it out of the park with the run he has for the former two, and with the new Midnight Suns fast approaching, I want so much more. With that though, I hope you all enjoyed, and look forward to a weekend full of streams from me, as I will be watch partying all of the Tōkon creator podcasts that we're getting at EVO, and hopefully if they're streaming the pre-release tournament, I'll be watching that too. All the times you see here on screen are in PST, and I'll have more info soon, which ones I'll be able to stream. I'm employed, I'm sorry. So look forward to those streams with a few potential guests. TBD. Other than that, I hope you all enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.